Good evening. This is Business Today on ChannelEye, the program where we talk about business, entrepreneurship and much more. On today's episode, we are going to discuss about the valuation industry, what it's all about and what it is exactly. And to do so, we have with us in the studio Mr. D. Prathapasinghe, Fellow of Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors UK and a Chartered Valuation Surveyor. Mr. Prathap, good evening and welcome to the program. All right, so let's start off with a bit of an introduction about property valuation, who performs it and its importance to people.
Yeah, Prasant. When it comes to property, we identify properties in two categories. One is immovable properties, other one is movable properties. When it comes to immovable properties, that is land and building with all other improvement, which is we call is a real estate. Okay, so when it comes to movable properties, is plant and machinery, mostly machinery and maybe vehicle as well. Okay, what is valuation is all about estimation of value of a property, either movable or immovable. Estimation value of property. So who is doing the estimation of value of property? That's valuers. Valuers professional task is to carry out the property valuation, the estimation of the value of property. That is all about valuation in simple terms. When it comes to properties, of course, Prashant, real estate properties, there are many types of properties. Now, its range is very vast. Simple residential property, up to luxury residential property, various types. Okay, the commercial property in the broader concept is commercial property, but if you explain it further, shops, whatever the property which is used for commercial purpose. Okay, that is commercial property. And industrial properties, industry where production are manufactured like that, industrial purpose, the warehouses, big warehouses. Okay, so and leisure properties including hotel and theme park and all that. Okay, these kind of, there are many type of properties categories depend on the use. Okay, these every time, okay, these properties have to be valued for various purposes. So there valuers role is coming to play. That's all about valuation.
Right. And what exactly is the purpose of valuation and what instances would people need such a valuation?
Yeah, of course. You know, everyone, generally everyone wants to know the value of their asset, we call asset. Okay, but it's basically mentioned that, you know, suppose you want to get a loan from a bank. Okay, banks are generally having their own panel of valuers. We are valuers registered with bank to perform property valuation for their purpose. So banks wants to give a loan for someone taking the property as a collateral. Simply your property is pledged against the lending.
Right.
Okay. It's a central bank requirement that bank has to take a valuation of a property to decide their loan amount.
Right.
That's basically, it's a compliance they have to do. One thing is mortgage lending purpose, simply says. Okay, so lending purpose. And second thing is, you know, there are companies, they got asset. It's accounting in standards requires them to assess their value of the properties to record in their final accounts, which is called financial reporting purpose. Those valuations are carried out under the international financial reporting standards. When it comes to Sri Lanka, it's a Sri Lanka financial reporting standards and also international valuation standards. Okay, under those standards, the property valuation to include in final accounts has to be carried out by a professionally qualified valuer. So that's second. And the third thing is, you know, sometimes you know want to have an insurance policy. against the property, how your residence, your factory, your hotel or whatever. In that case, insurer want to have a value of a property to decide their insured amount. So they are those who wants to have a insurance must first take a valuation of the property, that is called valuation for insurance purpose. Okay, and also there are instances where you going to sell your property. Prasan, you may have property, so you want to sell it. So first you must know what is the value of my property before you decide your asking price.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, that's the practice. Of course, globally happen in Sri Lankan context. Now it is quite improving. Okay, so before you set to asking price, you want to know the exact value of the property, likely price. Okay, okay. So then you get a valuer to do a valuation for property. Accordingly, you decide what is the asking price you going to set in when you put your property on sale. Okay, and on the other hand, suppose I am the one who is going to buy your property. You are selling, you are telling this much, 100 million, but I am not sure whether your price is right, whether I am going to give my offer is right. So to give you an offer based on the market, you contact the valuer and ask him to value the property. That is valuation for purchase purpose. Okay, so then buyer also get a valuation, seller also get a valuation. Then the negotiation is much easier. Okay, somewhere in the middle, you both parties maybe agreed upon, which is consideration at the end of the day. Okay, so that's purpose. And you know, these days most of the young crowd like you all are, you know, looking for foreign employment, foreign education, like that. Okay, you want to get a visa. So then a visa officer wants to know how much property you own, what is the value of those. Okay, then your visa advisor asks you to get a valuation of your property. Then you have to definitely contact a valuer, because a visa officer only accept the valuation carried out by professionally qualified valuer. Okay, so where we don't say it's a visa purpose, but the purpose is to get a valuation, is applying for visa. Okay, then you definitely have to contact a valuer to get a valuation done. And sometimes you want a valuation to keep it as a bond. Some universities, you know, when they are giving a scholarship, okay, they have to make sure that you complete your studies and comply with their condition and all that. They won't guarantee. The one who is doing guarantee has to show their value in asset. For that purpose, they contact valuer to get valuation done. So there are so many type of purposes, various purposes to get valuation done for your properties. Okay, and in general, tax purpose. You will have to pay taxes. For example, you got a property. Now you are going to sell it. It might have been inherited for you before maybe 2010. Okay, what tax law says that if someone get a property before 2017, September 30th, you have to get a valuation done for the property on that day, 2017 September 30th. It's a law of this country, tax law. So you get that valuation, and today you sell a property, and the today value is one, that day value is another one. In between, the difference is based on the tax assessment, capital gain tax. So you have to get a valuation done. In general, my advice is, if you have a property, better you get a valuation done, keep it in your file, because it might definitely require for in future. Because valuation report does not simply include a value. It's describe your property, it's explain everything A to Z from roof to the bottom, about the property, about the land, about the environment, and other plus and minuses of the property. That's the all of a record, professional record. Okay, better you keep it in your file. whenever emergency, whatever happen, you got a record of your property at least. So these are the different purposes.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to property development or property valuation rather in Sri Lanka, how has the development been, and how is it compared to a global context?
Yeah, you know, it's a global, when it's come to global context of valuation, right? It's a most aware, everyone looking at the valuation before they jump into an investment. Okay, that's the practice. Okay, they always rely on professional valuers' opinion to take informed decision on investment in a property. Okay, most you know, when it comes to UK, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, USA, there are real estate agents. They are well established real estate business. The agents, they get valuation, they know property, they all get valuation, everything advice for the property investment done by them. You don't have to worry about that. Okay, so that helps you to take an informed decision on investment. Okay, so before you do any development, even you trying to build up your own house, better you get a proper assessment of cost, evaluation of your property, valuation of development on completion of the construction and all that. You must have an idea. So you must do a proper feasibility report. When it comes to feasibility report, most thing that is done by corporates, is done by big investment. It is not. Even a 10 perch land, you're trying to build your house. So you see what would be the final value of this development when if I do it, because you are investing your hard-earned money. You have a lot of options, whether live in rented house and buy a good car and live your life. So otherwise, if you want to build your own house, live in. What is the best option? You must opt for. So those kind of things. So when it comes to property development, you need to buy a land. Okay, so buying a land involves a lot of decisions. Okay, first thing is to know how much you're going to invest. So how much you're going to spend for the land? What are the location? Why you are paying 100 million for this? Why not the other one, which is 80 million? So like that, you have to take a lot of decisions before you take a final decision to do the development. So it's a feasibility study. Okay, therefore you must get a proper valuation advice, whatever property development you do, which is the practice, especially in developed nations.
Right. And what are some of the issues faced when going through this route of valuation, the valuation industry? What are some of the issues which we face?
If I talk about Sri Lankan context, Prashant, so in Sri Lanka, valuation is all about an assessment of likely price. If you say price is already marked, price. Yeah. When you go to a shop, price is marked. If you want to buy a house, developer say value is price is 100 million, something like that. It's a price. He decided it. If you want to buy it, paying 100 million is your cost. You already paid it. It's a historic figure, historical figure, cost. But you want to know what is the value. Value is not the cost, not the price. It's a likely price. How much it would be in the market, which is market based. Okay, it is an assessment. So to do an assessment, valuer need quality information. Okay, in Sri Lankan context, what is most challenging is the information gap. Quality information. You see, even you want to buy a property, maybe somewhere in Devala, right? Is there any place you can go and ask for information of properties in the locality? Where you can go? You don't have any place to go. But in Europe, there are many places to go and ask information before you take a decision. We valuers, we are not value creators. We are not creating values. Right. We are reflecting market behaviors, how market would behave in a given particular context. So that assessment is done by competent valuer. That valuers we have been trained, educated, trained and experienced for. Okay, there are some situations where very uncertain. When uncertain is high, so assessment is quite not that easy. So if the information are quality, information are credible, information are simply accessible, okay, then you can take quality information and quality decisions. In Sri Lankan context, mainly no proper integrated data base available for professionals or other investors or buyers to access on for their investment decisions. Okay, in compared to the global. Okay, so that's a challenging part. Then other thing is knowledge, like education gap. There are one is the information gap, second one is knowledge gap, education gap. General people, of course, they are not much. That's something. It's not complaint, but it's generally that knowledge is not available in the market that much. We as valuers, that's our duty to educate our clients. I hope this program would help in that sense. Okay, so that's therefore when people want to do a development, when they're buying a property or whatever the development attached to a property, so they need information, but there's no proper place and they don't know how to get it. They very I don't say they don't know, but that awareness is lacking. So that's the other challenge. Therefore, there are sometimes even investors, big investors, are got caught with misleading, like not practitioners, maybe brokers or other incompetent people in the market. Right. Those are these things. Other thing is the third issue is I found in the Sri Lankan context, the research and development. When it comes to real estate, it's all if you say asset, it's your land and building and the improvement. Okay, it's the most valuable asset in your life. When it's country, it's the country's asset. But I don't know whether people have given their due focus, due recognition of that such a valuable asset. Okay, so research and development definitely will help. Okay, that part is lacking. That's of course we as professional institution, we have our academics, we are as practitioners, we have to do. Okay, and government policy makers has to make the facilities available to do that. It's all about cost. So, but if there are research and development enough, that definitely help to improve the industry, develop the industry, make the market awareness right, make the people decisions are very prudent and informed. So those are the main three issues I have identified, which are to be addressed soon and sort it out soon to get the established proper real estate industry and development of the country on par with global standards.
Right. And how would you say it compares internationally? Do they face some of these same issues, or what are some of the...
information asymmetry is always everywhere.
Right.
Information, which means in a particular transaction, you have information more than myself, what I got. Therefore, you can mislead me. Okay, I have information 5, you have 10. So your decision is much more prudent and informed than mine. Suppose you can take the advantage of that. That is all about information asymmetry theory, where adverse moral hazard and all things happen. Okay, so information asymmetry is always they are in the market. Okay, but in the global context, they have control it. Information asymmetry has sorted out, having established data management system. Whatever data related to land development, property transaction are systematically recorded and make them properly tabulated and managed and maintained, accessible for those who require system. But in Sri Lankan context, that type of property, integrated property management maintenance mechanism is not available to my knowledge. That has to be established. All the policymakers, government institutions, private institutions, and private investors, everyone must get together into the system. Okay, and there must be a maybe legal requirement must be in place to encourage to proper disclosing of the information with regard to property transaction. Okay, so that's how you have to develop the property database. The Sri Lankan context, which is very valuable, especially the Asian countries, especially South Asia. This issue is always there. Proper information is not available. So, and also technology in Europe, Asian countries, sometime in Africa as well, they use of course technology. So systems, okay, record information, and most important thing is whatever information available, no point unless it is available for when it is required. Okay. Everywhere you got information, everywhere you have information, but if there's no central place, what the use of information having? If there's no place to access information, okay, if it is not available when it is required, what is the use of having information? Information always there, but you have to put it in the right way that is available when it is required. That has been done in global context in very well, but where we are still have to go a long way to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, let's say someone wants to attain these services. How do locals attain these services, and what are some of the benefits of getting professional advice when considering property investment?
Oh, of course, very good question, Prasad. If someone wants to get a valuation, they of course have to find a valuer. In Sri Lankan context, there are locally qualified valuer, which is called the Sri Lankan members of Institute of Valuers of Sri Lanka, IVSL valuers.
Right.
That is the Sri Lankan Professional Institute regulate valuers. Okay. To then IVSL members. Okay. If someone wants to find a valuer, they have to look for the IVSL members. Okay. When it comes to global context, the valuation most widely accepted qualification is RICS qualification. Okay, Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, based in UK, the global professional organization that regulate valuers and other property professionals worldwide. Okay, I'm a member of RICS as well. I'm a member of IVSL as well in Sri Lanka. Okay, so in Sri Lankan context, there are two categories of valuers: RICS valuers, IVS valuers, more on IVSL. Okay. So you can, if you talk to a bank, you can find a simply valuer, you can get a contact of valuer. If you talk to a IVSL office in OPA Colombo 7, you can ask for information. And general market, there are information available. And in Sri Lankan context, there are companies, there are individual practicing on solo basis.
Right.
For general practitioners. Okay. So you can always contact them. And you ask what is the importance of having a valuation.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't you need to know your value of your property through a professionals? Okay. So it's everyone wants it, but you think that is required only at you are getting a loan. That is required only at you trying to record your value in final statement. But there are some instances you may require, you don't know that. I'll give you a very good example. Okay, we all know in 2022 May 9 there was a lot of incident happened in this country. Lot of house was burned, destroyed, things happen. But after that, those who got their house destroyed has to claim for compensation from the government or other agencies, right? But you know, the most of the those who got affected have no information about their property. What was it? You know, is this destroyed? Is fired? You know.
Yeah.
Then you don't have information. Whatever you can say, that was tile roof, asbestos, tile floor, timber doors and windows, all that, AC there, lot of things. But how you can prove it? You have to prove it. In case you got a valuation report with you, simply you know, of course, once the house is destroyed, maybe the file is also destroyed.
Yeah.
But you still can contact the valuer and ask for the copy of a report. You can simply give it to a government agency, maybe government valuer. You can simply say, this is what it is. Okay, this what was the value, this how it has been built, this is a design and floor area and everything. Okay, so a lot of people got problem, you know, without having acceptable record of their property in assessment their compensation. Even the government valuation department found it difficult to estimate without proper information about the property is destroyed. No.
Yeah.
So, like that's an example. There are situations like that. Okay, you have to see if something happened. I don't know what happened. So at least you must have a copy digitally available within your phone.
Right.
So get a valuation done. Don't, you know, it's not the matter of how much spending on that. Yeah, you anyway have to you know, have a incur cost, but its value at the end of the day, you don't know when it is required. By the time it is required, it's worth millions.
It's like paying for life insurance
Of course.
every year, and then
it's worth millions. It's worth millions.
Yeah.
So you can't take it back. So better you keep a valuation, digital format, keep it in your phone with all the property record. The very important, Prashant, property record. Okay, if I ask, Prashant, how many documents in your property file, you say, sir, yes, Mr. Pata, I got deed. Is that enough? Or I got survey plan. Is that enough? No. You have to maintain a proper property record in your file. It's not just survey deed, it's not just survey plan. There are some other documents. One may be the valuation report, one may be the approved building plan, street line, non-vesting, other reservation, you know, other certificates from other agencies available.
Yeah.
So everything, and about maintenance, about cost of construction of it, and whatever the transaction taken in between, the records must be in that file. Likewise, you have to maintain a proper property record. This is a very good practice in Europe. Everyone has their own property record for each property. That simply can transfer to the next person. But I don't know whether you have keep your property, you know, record for your vehicle sometime. Only you got the registration document, that's all. But it's not the right way.
And
So-
do these valuation documents have an expiry period? Is there something as
No,
such?
it's like this, you know, when it's come to valuation, it generally says 6 months. You know, remember, the value is for a particular date. As of this date, value is this much.
Right.
Its time is specific. It's market based. So value is for a particular date. That's fine. But still, that report carries a lot of information of your property. Okay. Value, of course, can be done. But something happened, you can bring something down to your property and show him the past record, past valuation report. Then that valuer will find it, of course, easy to estimate your value which is destroyed like that. Okay. So, but generally 6 months, maybe 1 year. Okay, but depending on the purpose.
Right.
Okay. When it comes to company valuation, it's generally for 3 years in value.
All right.
Okay.
Now, as someone who has been in this industry for quite some time and acquired knowledge and experience as well. You're actually a proud recipient of one of the most prestigious awards, and you received it in India.
Yeah.
What do you think that award has? What impact does it have on the Sri Lankan valuation industry?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Prashant. That award was organized by RICS UK. When it comes to RICS, I told you it's a global organization having members right across the world. Okay, they are having different region. One is the South Asia region.
Okay.
There are in the South Asian region, India is the biggest country, and other 7 countries, including Sri Lanka as well. Okay, so they this time, the first time in South Asia, RICS organized a award like program. Okay, that award program is to motivate and recognize property professional in South Asia. Okay, so in that program I also applied. Okay, my company, right? So that assessment was done right almost over 1 year. Okay, with among the 15 judges panel, right? That assessment was done, and the RICS gave of course 15 awards. Okay, so final award ceremony was held in Lalit Hotel, New Delhi, August 3rd. There I also was selected as a finalist for 2 awards. Of course, I applied for 2. Then Best Valuation Team Awards was awarded me and my team.
Right.
Pratap Chartered Valuers.
Congratulations.
So thank you very much. So you asked what is the importance. This is the first time, okay, Sri Lankan valuation firm or a person is globally recognized, okay, for valuation excellency.
Right.
Okay, the assignment we carried out for this, of course, this award submission is a valuation of world largest seaplane terminal in Mali, right next to the Mali International Airport. It's a kind of unique property as a valuation that we carried out for lending purposes. That assignment, of course, we send it as a submission for this award.
Okay.
Okay. So what the message was, we again proved to the world, especially South Asia, that the Sri Lankan valuers and valuation profession are at global standards giving objective property valuation. Okay, what the message is, when it's come to foreign investors seeking an investment in Sri Lanka, in Sri Lankan property sector, they know they can receive quality professional valuation from Sri Lankan valuers. Okay, those are all globally recognized, and they are awarded. Okay, so valuation industry established. Okay, that's confidence we built in on investors. The main issue is when it's come to investment, they say one is information and the quality service they are looking at, where we can get it. Okay, the practice was sometime back in the country, if investor wants some certain advice, they bring professional advisors from other countries. That's the general practice.
Yeah.
Now it has been changed a lot. Okay, we are conducting property professional consultancy and valuation for even foreign companies, Maldives and other investors. Okay, in their countries as well. We have developed the profession up to that level. Now we are operating as not in just solo basis. We are corporates like there are many companies in the country as well,
right,
carrying out valuation. So that message we have given to the world. We Sri Lankan are on par with global standards when carrying out the property valuation. So of course, but we still have to go a long way to further develop it to that level.
Right. Now, well, we've reached towards the end of the discussion, but
Yeah.
before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you, what are the future plans for this industry, and how can policymakers and industry professionals contribute?
Yeah, you know, I told you different issues there, in information issue, knowledge gap, and research and development. Of course, policymakers, academics, professionals, and professional institutions of this country in valuation, property valuation, and real estate must got together and have a sort of mechanism and setup with supported by law or other policy backing, okay, to establish the proper database system.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
that should be the way out. So they have to develop it, and research and government agencies must support research and development in this area. Okay, this is the most important area of investment. Okay, to attract foreign direct investment. So property sector must be well organized and established, and market has to be make transparent. Credible, transparent system you have to be put in place.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so in that sense, we are trying to build up that environment in the country. We are professional. I am a senior vice chairman of RIC Sri Lanka. We also trying to support government and other local agencies and professionals to come to this kind of accepted mechanism.
Right. And well, finally, we have hopefully a new generation coming into this industry, and there are many global opportunities as well. Maybe you can talk a bit about those opportunities, and if you have any advice to the younger generation who's interested in this profession.
Very good. That's a very good question. You know, this property sector, real estate, is the most outstanding, popular and sector where you can earn a lot of money. Okay, there are a lot of job opportunities available locally and globally, especially Middle East, South, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Europe, African region even. But the thing is, Sri Lankan new generation, I am not sure whether they are fully aware of the benefits and opportunities available in this sector. So when it comes to education, only the University of Sri Javandapura conducting a degree course in real estate management and valuation, where I graduated as well. So that's the only academic course available. Okay, only thing is, Sri Lankan context, there are no other private sector who is conducting this, academic qualification.
Right.
So that is coming in. It will be set up soon. It started soon in our private universities as well. My advice is young generation, please check on this area, real estate development and property valuation, and valuation, real estate development related professionals. There are so many other professionals. Okay, so they have to look for information. In other countries, Europe mainly, South, Australia, New Zealand, there are many universities who are conducting academic courses in this field. Once they got it, they can get membership of RICS UK and other property professionals organization globally. Okay,
Right.
and they also still can get the membership of local valuation institute as well. So this is a very much fast growing, high earning industry where you also can have a lot of opportunities. So get prepared for.
All right. Well, that ends up today's discussion of business today. That was Mr. Prathap, a fellow of Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors UK and a Chartered Valuation Surveyor. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you, Prathap. Thank you.
And that winds up today's discussion on business today. Do join us next time as well. Till then, have a good night.